Financial Argument channel and subscribe to it. In order to support us, please do not forget to like our videos and comment on it with your own views. Finally, you can visit our website address, financialargument.net, and social media accounts for more financial news.
This video posted with permission. The financial and political opinions expressed in this video are not necessarily of Financial Argument or its staff. Opinions expressed in this video do not constitute personalized investment advice and should not be relied on for making investment decisions.
Now, what we are seeing at this point is that we have two sides to the economy. One, which are the statistical numbers, which give us this great illusion that the economy is doing well. The Fed out there telling us it's doing well. The government putting out the statistical numbers telling us it's doing well. And then we have the people's economy, where it's the everyday person living in their home, shopping, working, maybe not working, and they are realizing and they are understanding what is going on here. And we've been talking about the housing market. Remember, the middle class, the housing market is very important to the middle class because this is really their store of wealth. And when house prices go up, they feel very comfortable. When house prices come down, they feel like things are not going their way. And a lot of individuals take home equity line of credits out from their houses to maybe purchase or send their children to college or do other things. And if your house is not appreciating, you just can't do these things. And you might even have to do it to repair a roof or something like that. We are starting to see now that the housing market, the prices are coming down, and the sales of pending, existing, and new home sales, they are declining. Now, yesterday we talked about existing home sales. They've declined, and the outlook does not look good. This is the very, very popular time of the year where people like to sell their homes, make sure their kids get in the home before school, make sure they have the address so they can register their children so they can go to school. It's warm weather. People like to move in at this time. Their flowers are blooming. It feels great. But we are not seeing the housing market do what it's supposed to do during the summer months. And we saw this during last summer and the summer before this. And when we look at it, it's getting worse and worse as time goes on. Now, new home sales, they were expected to rebound by 2.2% month on month, after crashing over 5% in June. But guess what? It didn't happen. The sales tumbled to 1.7% month on month after an upward revision. So it's even worse than we even think it is. So June's 5.3% drop was revised up to 2.4% drop, which impacted the miss in July. And we could see that this whole entire situation with the housing market, it's not going to turn out well. If we look at the UMich home buying condition, we see that people are looking at this and saying, listen, it's not a good time to purchase a house. Interest rates are moving up. A lot of the houses aren't for sale anymore. People are taking them off the market. Prices on homes are coming down, and it just doesn't look good. We see that the PMIs, they're signaling that the U.S. economy has cooled. Second quarter manufacturing has led to a slowdown. And when we start to look at this, we can see that U.S. manufacturing and services PMI, they missed their expectations and dropped for the third month in a row. And it looks like manufacturing is slowing right now. I know the plan is to bring manufacturing back to the United States. It's a great plan. But you need to remember that the central bankers, the deep state, they've had many years, I mean everything since 1913, to move everything out of this country. And once 1970 came, they had the ability to push their agenda to the extreme, where they were able to move manufacturing corporations and many other things out of this country. So they had many years to do this. And to bring it all back within a year, 2 years, 3 years is completely impossible. First of all, we don't have the infrastructure. Second of all, we don't have the manufacturing plants ready to go. Also, we don't have the individuals to work in these areas, because most of the people that have been laid off, they have been working in manufacturing for quite a while. Remember, we lost about 2.3 million jobs or so in manufacturing. So to bring it all back in a year or two is quite impossible. But I understand the long-term plan where we're going to bring back manufacturing for the future. Yes, that does make sense. How do we get to the future? Well, you need to bring the current system down and restart the entire thing. And all these signs that we're looking at, home sales, new home sales, retail, and things like that, these are all indicators, which is the, everyday person on the street, where they're realizing that, listen, I don't have enough money to go out and purchase in retail, online or brick and mortar. I don't have enough saved up. I don't have a good enough job to purchase a house, especially if interest rates move up. Remember, they created this housing boom with very, very low interest rates. And they started the, 0% down, 3% down, just to try to get people in. The same thing with the automobiles. They went all the way down past subprime to anyone with a heartbeat, just to bring people in to sell the automobiles. That's all coming to an end, running out of people. Maybe that's why they wanted to bring all these illegals into the country, because you have fresh new people to take out loans. And that's what the central bank likes. That's part of their agenda. We see right now that loan demand has suddenly tumbled. And what is happening here is, as interest rates move up, companies, it looks like they are reaching a point where they can't take out any more money. Now, what is causing the unexpected slump? Well, according to Bank of America, it appears that despite such favorable survey results, commercial banks are having an unusually slow summer in terms of lending activity to companies. This is troubling and probably indicates that companies this year are finally responding to the increase in the relative cost of debt by using less of it. And if rates continue to rise, as they most likely will, absent an unexpected dovish turn by the Fed in the coming months, it would indicate that for the majority of the U.S. corporations, the clearing level of rates has finally been hit. And what we're seeing is that loan demand expectations, well, they're going to accelerate to the downside, hitting not only bank interest income, but also the broader economy as the average U.S. company hits a growth plateau. And this is going to have an effect on corporate earnings growth, the broader economy, and everything else. Now, one thing we need to understand, everything that we've been looking at, these are just all different indicators, and we've been looking at all these indicators for a very long time. And we've been showing that the economy was built up on an illusion. The numbers were manipulated. The economy has been slowly deteriorating. They continually try to pump it up, but the people's economy is deteriorating very, very quickly. And you can see it in many different areas, especially in retail, now in real estate, in manufacturing, and many other areas that we've been looking at. And the reason is that this economy was never meant to go this far. The central banking system was not designed to go this far, because they know there's a certain point in time where there's just way too much debt. They can't do anything with it, and they have to restart it one way or another. And this is why we see this battle between the patriots and the central bank. We need to keep one thing in mind. People are looking at what is going on with Trump, looking at Q, looking at exposing everything, and that's coming up very, very soon. And once this does happen, the economy is going to hit. I see today Trump is out there and he's saying, listen, if I'm impeached, the stock market's going to come down. Let me ask you this. If all this information comes out that the mainstream media has been lying, that Clinton, Comey, and the rest, they are treasonous, and we have documentation to back all this up, and they declassify the IG report. We know from Q that people are going to reject this. People are going to be very angry. What do you think is going to happen to the economy? What do you think is going to happen to this country? It's all going to fall apart. And it's going to come down pretty darn rapidly, because people are going to be angry, pissed off. And once this information comes out, people are going to look into other information, like maybe the central bank, the Fed. What are they up to? What's going on with all of this? And this is going to bring down the entire system. This is not just, let's just, take these people, send them to jail, and the rest of the country is going to be fine. Because remember, most of the country, they're sleeping right now. They don't know that this economy is a gigantic illusion. They don't know that these individuals have been running this economy for their benefit, not for the people's benefit. And when all this information comes out, the whole house of cards comes down. And that includes the economy. That includes everything. And this will be the transition. This will be the transition into a new system, a new economy without the Federal Reserve, or the Federal Reserve, which is nationalized and controlled by the people. Don't know why we still need it, but we should just create the currency ourselves. But let's say this is the first step and this is what they do. A new system without the certain individuals in government, the deep state. Those people will be removed. This is a new system. It's a transition. It's a reboot. So when you think of all of this, this is not just one thing over here and one thing over here. It includes everything. And if you haven't started to prepare, you need to start, because this is going to happen one way or another. And you don't want to be sitting there going, wow, what just happened here? This was all released. The population's going crazy. They don't believe it. The stock market is falling like crazy, because you know that's going to happen. Businesses are saying that they have to lay off. And all of a sudden, we start to get the real information about what the economy is really doing. And a lot more stores close, a lot more businesses close. The whole thing is a complete and utter mess. And you don't want to be running to the supermarket. You don't want to be running all over the place to get your food, to get your supplies, to get your money out of the bank, to get your gold and silver, because a lot of it you won't be able to get. So if you haven't started to prepare now, I would start. You can go to any of the warehouse type of stores like Costco, BJ's, or whatever you want to do, and you can stock up on supplies. You can keep gold and silver, in your home someplace safe. You can keep cash someplace in your home safe. This is my opinion. This is what I do. And you can keep certain materials within your possession to make sure that you have everything that you need. Water, medication, things like that. Because once everything starts to fall apart, and yes, they're going to try to bring it up as quickly as possible. Will that be easy? When I say quickly as possible, I don't mean like the next day. I mean, it might take 3, 4, 5 months. I mean, think about it. Go back to the 70s when we were the reserve currency and we came off the gold standard. They were moving us onto the petrodollar system. For those people that remember, I mean, how long did you have to go to the gas station and wait for fuel on those odd, even days with the green flag, red flag? For those people that were trying to get a job in the 70s, how long did it take you to get a job? I mean, these are the things that you have to think of. Yes, in the later 70s, move into the 80s, when things started to even out and interest rates started to come down again and things like that, and credit opened up, it was a whole new world. But that transition period of time, remember back, and if you can't remember back to that time because you're not old enough, ask someone. Ask them what happened during that period of time. And they will tell you. And that was a time when we were the reserve currency and we were coming off the gold standard. We had a very little bit of debt and we were moving on to a new system. Now we're at the end cycle of a central banking system. We're not coming off the gold standard. We're coming off of a petrodollar system. We have a huge amount of debt, and the economy was propped up with this gigantic illusionary statistical number nightmare. And once all this falls apart, people are going to realize what this really is. And it's not just about the Clintons. It's not just about Brennan and Clapper and Comey. It's everything all together. And once this falls apart, hope in the stock market comes down. Hope and faith in the dollar disappears. This is what's going to happen, because think about all the countries around the world. The United States is going to look like a mess to every other nation. It's not going to look strong. It's not going to look like they have it together. It's going to look like there's been corruption for many years, and there's all these people that are being arrested now. I mean, right now, countries are looking at it and they're saying, wow, look at all these people being arrested in the FBI or firing, resigned. Same thing in the Department of Justice. Once these indictments come out, the entire economic system is going to be chaotic. And this is why you need to be ready and prepared, because it's not just one thing, it's all of it together. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared.